Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to play some games with Blue-Red Guttersnipe. This is a deck that I've been working on since basically since rotation. I would always try to play with like Blue-Red Delver decks when Delver was a thing. And Delver still is a thing. He's still a very efficient creature. He'll still flip on turn two. He'll still get the kills for you. But he's not as powerful as he used to be without Ponder and other really efficient cards like that. So we kind of have to switch our focus over to a new card, and that's Guttersnipe. Guttersnipe is powerful. He'll do a lot of damage over the course of the game, especially when you get multiple on the board. It just gets insane. Um, and the core of this deck is really cheap spells that you're just drawing cards, burning your opponent, killing the creatures, and Guttersnipe just getting the free damage in for you. I think Pillar of Flame is pretty much a staple now. It exiles a lot of annoying, undying creatures. It kills a lot of other creatures. Just cheap and efficient, gets them out of the way, and it can also go right to your opponent's face if you need it to. Thought Scour as well. It's a cheap, efficient draw spell, and basically anytime I'm playing a Runechanter's Pike, I want to be playing Thought Scour with it. It can mill them, it can mill me. Usually it's milling them unless I actually have the Runechanter's Pike. But it's good and it's cheap, so it'll get us gutter snipe damage. It'll get us a card. It'll always do something good. Dangerous Wager is actually a new card to the build that I want to try out. In this deck, you'll usually empty your hand rather fast, and if this is the last card in your hand, you're just discarding it and getting two new cards, which is fine. It's one in a red, so it's not expensive. It's not discarding at random like most of the red draw spells are. For a while, I was trying Desperate Ravings, and Desperate Ravings is fine. Um, the flashback does make it even better. I'm just not sure. Like the random discard can be a pain sometimes. With this, you can sometimes just discard nothing. So it's a card I've been trying out, and it's been doing well, pretty well so far. Is it Charm? I think is actually my least favorite card in the deck. I've tried not using it and using it, and there's no real difference. Like I could probably just put a four dissipates in its place and be just as happy. But I mean, I could be totally wrong on that. Is it Charm is a fine card. I just don't like it very much, but I think if anything, it's a necessary evil in the deck to me. I could replace it with any number of things, but I'm keeping it in for now just to see how much mileage and how much use I can get out of every mode that it offers. Searing Spear is basically a mainstay in here as well. I initially had not wanted to use a strictly worse incinerate, um, but it does its job. It kills most things that you want it to kill. And that's really the limiting factor in this deck is that by using Burn as its only removal, you need something big like Devil's Play to take out anything larger than a 3. Otherwise, you're just using more than one card on one thing and you're losing advantage and it's not good. But Searing Spear hits the face as well, just like Pillar of Flame, and it usually does a very fine job of what it does. Think Twice, probably one of my favorite cards in the deck, just because you get so many cards. Think Twice is just value. Um, just drawing a card and Gutter Snipe dealing the damage while you're doing it feels good. Augur of Bolas is uh, he's been on and off of the deck. Normally it'd be the 4 Electromancers in the main, but I think Augur Bolas is just better for the meta right now. The 1/3 body helps against like the Rakdos aggro decks. It can block most of the things they play. Um, and it being able to come down and find that instant or sorcery you need to kill them or one of their creatures, just get extra damage and gutter snipe is very useful. While Electromancer making your spells cheaper is cute, it can help you kind of like combo off sometimes. I don't think it's ultimately as useful as Augur Bolas is. And Gutter Snipe, I don't think I need to talk about him too much. He's the engine of the deck. Whenever you cast in a sorcery, it deals 2 damage to each opponent, which is cool in multiplayer, but that's not what we're talking about. It's just very, very powerful effect. Anytime you cast anything, really, they're taking some damage. And he actually attacks a lot as well. There's a lot of games that you'll probably see where I'll just start crashing in with Gutter Snipe and he'll get in a few points of damage. And when it comes time for them to finally kill them, I'll just cast some instants, get that last bit of value off of them. He's just really good. And like I said, this is a Guttersnipe deck, definitely not a Delver deck. Guttersnipe is the star of the show here. And I'll just talk about Devil's Play is just a great card. I think a lot of people sleep on this card. It's impressive pretty much anytime I draw it, anytime I cast it. It'll kill something or it will kill them. Um, and Runechanter's Pike, of course, is kind of just the Miser's Pike. It'll get you out of any bad situation, honestly. You put it down and they can't attack or block. It just makes your creatures absurd with all these instants and sorceries that are going to be in our graveyard. And to talk quickly about the sideboard, let me sort it by color. It'll make a little more sense. All our blue cards are counter spells, which mostly are only useful in a control matchup. Occasionally, I'd want to bring in the Syncopates and Dissipates against like the Reanimator decks, or maybe the blue-white flash decks, stuff like that. If I don't even know if people play that anymore. But the counter spells do prove very helpful. Actually, that's one thing I have liked about the Izzet Charm is before I would play no counter spells main board, but Izzet Charm being able to occasionally counter something is nice. Burning Vengeance is a card that I wanted to use main board back in like the very first few drafts of this deck. Having 4 Burning Vengeance, 4 Guttersnipe, it's like whenever I cast anything, he's going to take damage. It's going to be awesome. But Burning Vengeance really isn't that good still, especially in this build, because there's really like no flashback at all. But it's a card I want to bring in just to try it out occasionally. My sideboard is kind of limited. I don't play Magic Online that much, so I don't have every card I would want. But Burning Vengeance is just a card I want to try. So the multicolored cards, Essence Backlash is actually a card that my friend would play 4 of in this sideboard. And he says the card is great. It's just always good when you cast it. I've never been a fan of 4 mana casting cost counter spells. Like even Cryptic Command is pushing it. But in the examples that I've seen it in, it is good. I'm just not sure how often I want to leave up the 4 mana to use it. But it's definitely something I'm going to be trying. Izzet Staticaster is good. He kills Lingering Souls. He kills a lot of smaller creatures in the format. Again, really just something I want to try out. Nothing that I'm specifically targeting with it. The Electromancers are basically there because I'm going to swap them with the Augur of Bolos's occasionally. If it's a deck, a less aggressive deck, I'll bring in the Electromancers because I don't need the Augurs to be down there on the ground and blocking. And same with the Guttersnipes, the Electromancers will get in there for some damage as well. And another Runechanter's Pike, basically if I want more of that same effect, if I want to make my creatures even bigger, I'll bring in the other Runechanter's Pike. Not really sure when I'll want it though. So that's the deck, and we're going to start playing some games with it.